It would be wonderful if life never tempted us, if we could spend every day improvising and always doing the right thing. However, the world doesn't work that way. In the end, we end up making mistakes or performing actions that we later regret. Stoicism, in theory, is a philosophy, but in practice it is a set of rules for living. The Stoics believed that life was complicated and full of situations that would test us. As such, they've created rules to help us stay on track. In this video, I'm going to talk about 11 Stoic rules I've set for myself to become the best version of myself. These 11 rules were created by Stoic philosophers over 2,000 years ago and have been useful to many people throughout history. Therefore, I invite you to stay until the end to learn all the rules and apply them to your own life. Before we get started, I would appreciate it if you would like this video. In this way, you help me to continue spreading this philosophy. If you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to apply. I recommend you sign up and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Rule number 1 is to conquer your mornings. One of the best moments of Marcus Aurelius's meditations is the discussion he has with himself at the beginning of Book 5. He knows he has to get out of bed, but he desperately wants to get under the warm sheets. That's easy to understand, but it's also awesome. Marcus Aurelius didn't have to get out of bed. In fact, I wasn't obligated to do anything. Many emperors before him had delegated the tasks of government to focus solely on living a life surrounded by luxury. However, Marcus Aurelius obliged himself not to fall into these temptations and to take up his tasks too soon. Why? Because I was waking up early. Marcus Aurelius knew that winning the morning was the key to winning the day, and therefore winning in life. Surely you have heard the expression, "God helps the early riser." Marcus Aurelius not only knew this saying, but he also knew that a day well started was a productive day. Personally, I do these 3 actions to have a productive morning. First, keep a journal. As soon as I wake up, I write down the things I have to do during the day and write a short reflection text about the day before. Here I write down the things I've done well and the things I've done wrong to get my mindset about where I need to improve. Journaling allows me to create a habit every morning and reflect on my life. It reminds me what I need to do and how I need to act. Second, play sports. You don't have to exercise with a lot of intensity. By doing sport, I mean moving, going for a walk, going to the gym, running, whatever you want. As long as it activates you physically, it will fully awaken you and put your mind at ease and ready for the third action. Focus on work. Once I've done the previous 2 actions, I'm ready to focus on the task in front of me. In this video, I talk more in depth about this rule. I leave you the link here. Rule 2 is to focus on what's in your control. The Stoics placed a lot of emphasis on focusing on the things we can control and forgetting the things we can't. Understanding this will make you much more practical, and you'll spend less time worrying about things you don't deserve. Once you understand this, you'll avoid a lot of frustration and suffering situations, and you'll know what's worth focusing on to achieve the goals you've set for yourself. A clear example is in sports. You control how you play. However, you don't control whether you win, whether your opponent is respectful, whether the crowd cheers for you or not. By realizing this and starting to focus on your game instead of others, you're likely to achieve better performance. Apply the same to every situation in your life. Rule 3 is not to suffer from imaginary problems. In life, situations of uncertainty will generate thoughts that will make us suffer. This is totally normal. But if you think about it, most of the negative situations that we imagine can happen later never happen. In Seneca's words, we are more frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than reality. Try to focus on the present and stay calm. Most likely the bad thing you imagine might happen to you won't end up happening. I leave here a video where I deal with this topic in more detail. Let's talk about Rule 4. Treat success and failure equally. Marcus Aurelius had an interesting metaphor. He said that all men are like a stone thrown into the air and said, "He gains nothing by going up, nor loses anything by going down. It's still the same rock." It doesn't matter if the day starts with a promotion or ends with a layoff, you're still the same person. In fact, negative situations in life often teach us many things. which is why they are even more useful than positive situations. Be grateful for everything that happens to you, no matter if it's good or bad, because regardless of what happens, you remain the same and will be able to learn from any situation. Let's move on to Rule 5. Do only one thing a day. This rule should not be applied literally. By doing one thing a day, I mean two situations. The first is for people who live without goals. It's important to focus on one goal to achieve each day, no matter how small. Living aimlessly turns a potentially extraordinary life into a mediocre one. The second is for people with many goals. Having big ambitions isn't bad, but focus on taking it one step at a time. Focusing on too many things at once can make you lose focus on what's really important. With this rule, I invite you to try to at least achieve a goal that you have set for yourself every day, no matter if it is something basic or something very complex. Work hard to achieve this. Rule 6. Don't look for the easy way out. Whenever you want to achieve something, remember that there is no easy path to achieve it. In life, worthwhile things are achieved with effort. Think of anyone you consider successful and read their bio. You will see that everything that person has achieved has not been achieved easily, but with effort and discipline. In fact, that's the key to your success. Tough roads build your character, make you learn from your mistakes, and encourage you to persevere. The difference between those who achieve great goals and those who don't lies in their tolerance for effort and sacrifice. Anyone can choose the easy way out, which is why there are very few who always achieve what they set out to do. Rule 7. Ask yourself if it's necessary. Take a moment to reflect on the things you do in life. Ask yourself, what do I do? You will realize how many things we do and desire in our life that are totally expendable. The amount of time we waste on these things that don't really bring us anything. How do we know if what we do is necessary? Ask yourself why you do the things you do. Find a valuable reason, something worthwhile. If you don't find that valuable reason, what you do is superfluous in your life. Rule 8. Love your destiny. Things don't always go our way, it's a fact of life. As Seneca said, fortune behaves as it pleases. His own life was proof of this. Health problems interrupted his political career. An emperor exiled him, but he managed to return only to have the same thing happen to him again. Almost everything was out of Seneca's control. The only part that depended on him was how he chose to view those events and what he decided to do with them. He chose to see them as a good thing. He chose to use them. Life will make you live good and bad situations. It's up to you to decide how to deal with them. Look for the bright side of things that happen or live with constant regret. Rule 9. Talk to death. The founder of Stoicism, Zeno of Citium, visited the oracle after losing all his wealth to find inspiration in his what to do in the future. The oracle told him, "To live a good life, you must speak to the dead." The oracle referred to reading and invited Zeno to read the books of the philosophers who lived before him. Reading is an amazing tool. It gives you the ability to read the thoughts and opinions of people who lived thousands of years ago. We live in a world where, on a daily basis, we seek the newest, and this makes us forget the old. There is nothing wrong with new things appearing, but we must not forget the amount of vital knowledge that is written in books. We have the power to talk to the greatest minds of the past, who, with their experience, can guide and help us in our lives. What's worse is that millions of people in the world decide to reject this superpower. Taking advantage of this has never been easier. We have access to so much ancient knowledge thanks to the internet. Rule 10. Be yourself and understanding of others. It's important to remember that the Stoic has strict rules and firm opinions about what's okay and what's not. But, and this is a big but, we must be sympathetic to and forgive those who have been, as Marcus Aurelius writes, cut off from the truth. Here's the key. Your patterns are for you. That doesn't mean we allow people to act unfairly or evilly, but we don't need to judge everyone who doesn't behave exactly the way we want them to. In this case, the best thing we can do is lead by example. If you want to show someone that you're doing the wrong thing, Make an effort to act the right thing and show it to them. It's the best way to make an impact on someone and change their way of thinking. It may take some time, but sooner or later they will start imitating you. Rule 11. Remember that you die every day. In Seneca's words, this is our great mistake, to think that we are anxious about death. Most of the death is over. All the time that has passed is the property of death. It's easy to see death as something distant. We think of death as an event that happens to us at some point in life, something stationary, no matter when it happens. Every day we approach slowly or quickly depending on our age and health. Seneca considered this to be the wrong way to think about death. There was a wrong perspective that fostered a lot of bad habits and a poor quality of life. On the contrary, he asserted that death was a process that happened to us at that very moment. We die every day, even as you're watching this video. The clock is ticking that you'll never go back. That time, according to him, belongs to death. Death is not at a distance. He is with us at this very moment. It's the second hand of the clock. It's the sunset. When the arrow of time moves, death continues to claim it with each passing moment. What should we do about it? The answer is to live. Live as long as you can. Don't procrastinate. Don't leave anything unfinished, and make the most of time while it still belongs to you. What do you think of these Stoic rules? Would you add more? I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Personally, I try to apply these rules in my life. Although it's not easy and you often forget, I try to write it down somewhere and remember. Stoicism is not an easy path, just like life. It takes a lot of effort and discipline, but it's worth it. Here are 2 videos that you will surely enjoy. Until next time.